Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I know it's been a long time since I've posted anything. There's been lots of changes in the garage. The Mustang is gone, the F-150 is gone. As you can see right here, now we have the 2019 Tesla Model 3. This is the dual motor, long range. So that means it's the all-wheel drive. So today I wanted to quickly just talk about my first impressions. I've only had it for about 5 days. So probably put about 150 or so miles on it. So let's just run through some unique things that I have found about this car. So let's start from the exterior. So of course you'll notice that this being an EV, you don't really need a lot of open vents in the front. So it's all kind of nice and neat and kind of tucked in. I got the base 18-inch wheels, the Aero wheels, which come with those covers, those ugly covers that you probably have seen. I'll add a picture in here so you can compare. You take those covers off and these are the wheels underneath. And I will definitely recommend, if you want to take the covers off, it does not come with these little center caps. You can buy these from Tesla or Amazon, and these little caps for the lug nuts. So that definitely makes the wheels look much better. Coming around the side, so the other unique thing that you'll notice is that the roof is all glass. So from here, from the windshield, where the windshield ends, this is one piece. And then from right after the B pillar, going all the way back, let me just see if we can get a better shot here. That's the back glass. Okay, coming around the rear quarter here, I think it looks okay design-wise. It's nice and sleek. I think this design is more about function, because it is very aerodynamic, because they want to try to save energy, give you better range. So everything, that's why you see the door handles. These are pretty unique. They're completely flush against the car to keep the wind resistance down. You push in and pull on the door handles to open. So let's keep moving around the back. And of course, the other unique thing, no tailpipes. This is, of course, like every other Tesla, all electric, so zero emissions, no funky gas smells, none of that going on over here. You'll also notice, let me go around the other side actually. This lighting is really shitty. You'll notice there's a camera here. There's a camera up here. There's a couple cameras actually up here. And then also on the other B pillar. And then of course in the back for the backup cam right there as well.
Okay, so one of the other cool features of the Tesla Model 3 that I wanted to talk about is how the key functions. So you don't have really a traditional key or even a key fob. The primary key is the Tesla app, which is right here. It lets you control the car, lock, unlock, turn on climate control, change your security settings, Sentry mode, all that stuff, gives you the location. So if you don't, and really the way it works is you don't have to open the app to unlock the car. You can simply, I'm gonna go ahead and lock it right now, and when you can have the phone in your pocket and you just walk up to the car and you can simply just unlock the door and it will open. So it's using Bluetooth to detect the phone and give you access that way. So that's the primary key, is the phone app. And then the other cool thing is when you get in the car, there's really no like ignition on or start, because this is, again, it's a fully electric car. So really when you get in and unlock the car, it's kind of already on. So like your climate control will be on when you get in. So that's kind of nice. And then when you're ready to go drive, you just put your foot on the brakes and shift this down to drive, and you just drive off. And then when you get out of the car, you just walk away from the car, and it automatically detects that your phone is away and locks it automatically. So now, if you're wondering what happens when if you don't have your phone on you or you lose your phone, so the backup method is a card. Basically, it's like the size of a credit card. I think it uses like RFID to unlock, so you can use this, and all you have to do is just tap it here. So that just locked it right now. You can tell when the mirrors fold in that it's locked, and then tap it here again to unlock, and you can get in. And then to actually start the car, or not start it, but actually drive it, you have to place it here, and then you can put it in drive, and it will let you drive. Okay, jumping into the interior, first thing you'll notice is, of course, lots of nothingness. Very few buttons. There is just a stock here for the turn signals, and if you push in for the windshield wipers, and then your gear selector is the other stock, and 2 scroll wheels that are kind of multi-function. And the other unique thing I like to point out here is there is not like an actual door handle, door release. There's a button for that. You press it, and that's how you open the door. There is, however, an emergency release if for some reason this is not working or your battery's dead. There is a little latch here that will also work as a door release, but that is only for emergency situations. All right, now let's talk about the rest of the interior here. So before we jump into the big 15-inch display, I just want to show you a little bit of the storage here. So here you have a little space to put your phone here. You can hook up your charger. It does not come with a wireless charger. I wish it did, but there's plenty of good aftermarket solutions for a wireless charger that you can mount here, and then you can just set your phone down. If you have a wireless Qi compatible phone, you can charge it there. So this here lifts up. This is magnetic, so it's nice and smooth. This also lifts up, and you kind of have a pretty deep space here to put all your junk in here. I haven't organized much. I just have my old dash cam in there right now, and this lid also closes. So the other thing I want to point out here is this from factory is a piano black finish, which is pretty ugly, I think, and it gets a lot of fingerprints on there. It gets dirty real fast and dusty, which every auto manufacturer needs to stop doing piano black plastic. So what I did, just like many other Tesla folks are doing out there, is got this vinyl wrap from EV Wraps. I'll leave the link down in the description. It's really easy to put on. It looks really nice. It's a nice, I hope it comes through in the camera, but it's like a really nice matte finish, but then it's also like a little bit of a honeycomb type of a pattern, and it feels really high quality, and it blends in really nicely with the rest of the interior. So same thing here, 2 cup holders, a little bit more storage here. You move that, there's a little more storage down there. There's a 12-volt connection there, and then underneath here, I forgot to mention, there are 2 USB ports down there. There are also 2 USB ports for the rear passengers back here. All right, now the main attraction here. Some of the unique features, of course, this is a 15-inch display. This is where you will control kind of everything about your car, and I think this is the coolest part about the interior, just because I think it gives it such a minimalist feeling. Like when you look over, there's no instrument cluster, which I know to some people might feel weird, but you get used to having your speed displayed, your speedometer here very quickly. And then this, I like this because it kind of gives the car, since there's no engine in the front, it gives a really low cowl, and you have very good visibility when you're looking over the car. Also, then here, this is I don't think this is real wood. It kind of feels like it maybe. I'm not sure, but it's a nice nice brown, and it's not like overdone. All these are soft plastics, so it's good quality interior. A little fun fact, the only thing that's real leather is the steering wheel. That's wrapped in real leather. The seats are all vegan leather.
Everything else is different materials and vegan leather, but the steering wheel is the only thing that is actual leather, if you care about that kind of thing. All right, the display. So the display allows you, so we'll just do a quick little rundown of what some of the controls are. Of course, you know, you can open your front trunk, your frunk. You can open your rear trunk from right here. This is kind of the main display that you'll see. Right up top, it shows you right now we're in park. Then it shows you your gear selectors. You hold down the brake, push down all the way, and it will go into drive, displayed right there. We'll go ahead and put it back in park for now. And then down here, it kind of shows you like, okay, there's someone in the driver's seat. It's detecting that, and my seat belt is not on. You can kind of swipe over to see your tire pressure for each tire, and you can swipe to the left to kind of see some of the trip meters, since last charged, my other trips. Oh, see, I guessed correctly. I have exactly 150 miles on it so far. Okay, so we put that back there. Then you can click on that, tap the little charging icon, and you get more details on the charging state. So here you can open the charge port, you can set the limit. So the other thing to note about when you're deciding to purchase your Tesla or any other EV car, you're really not supposed to charge your batteries to 100% every single day, because it's just not good for the life of the battery in long term. So Tesla recommends 80 to 90% every day, and then when you go on long trips, go ahead and feel free to charge to 100%. So this is the Model 3 long range dual motor. So it has a range of 310 miles. So right now I just have it set to charge to 80%, and then if I go on a longer road trip, I can just scooch this around to 100% and get the full range that I need. And then down here it'll just show you more information, last time I used the supercharger, that kind of thing. The other unique thing here is how when you look at these air vents, there is no like a physical switch or anything to kind of adjust how the air is flowing. So that's all done through the display as well. So let me go back to that. So what you do is, I hope that's coming through in the video. You kind of see it shows like the airflow, and then you can kind of move it up and down for the driver, and then you can kind of do this like pinch to kind of point it all in the middle, spread it out, and I think it works pretty well so far. I haven't, and I'm over here in the Arizona summers, so far it's been great. I'll report back as I get to use it more. All right, so hopping out of that, let's check out some of the music options. So you have of course your standard radio. Streaming is through Slacker. I wish it was Spotify. Then you can of course connect your phone through Bluetooth. Then you have TuneIn. I'm using it for like podcasts and stuff. We'll dive into those things later on. This is just kind of a first impressions kind of thing. So you know, all these controls are fairly easy to use. You can easily just tap and just slide your finger to turn down the volume. You can do it from here. Of course, you can do it from the steering wheel, just like any other car. If you go into the driving menu, lots of quick controls. Control your steering wheel, mirrors, lights, you know, all that kind of stuff. Most of these things you're gonna set to auto and really never have to touch them again, and you'll be good to go. So this model, the other thing that I'd like to mention about the model that I got, this is the one with, so all Model 3s today come with, in 2019, come with Autopilot standard, but you can add FSD, which stands for full self-driving, as a $6,000 option. Now Autopilot gives you ability to, it has auto steer, which is listed right there, which means it will keep you in the lane, it will keep you centered in the lane, and it also has traffic aware cruise control, which will also maintain your set speed. So that's for a feature that comes stock base for the base model. I think that's a great one. But if you want to add more self-driving features, you get the full self-driving package, which is what I have on this car, which is navigate on Autopilot, which is, I think, one of the coolest features on this car, and I'll do a quick demo pretty soon here to show what that looks like. It's lets you self-drive. Well, we'll come back to that. And then summon lets you summon the car, like if it's in a tight space or in a parking lot. You can use the app. Right now it's not fully baked. We'll come back to that later on and talk about it in more detail. So those are some of the cool things. Like I said, you can kind of control everything, see all that's going on. The other cool thing is, if the navigation system works really well, and people worry about with EVs, like, oh, am I going to have enough charge to go on long trips, that kind of thing. What the Tesla navigation does is, when you put in any navigation, any destination, it will route you through the superchargers, so wherever you need to stop. So you don't have to worry about, oh, like, where do I need to stop to charge? How much charge will I have? It will guide you through getting you to where you need to go, and tell you, like, okay, this is so right now, for example, I just put in Vegas, I'm in Scottsdale. It's saying, okay, you need to stop at the Wickenburg supercharger and charge for approximately 30 minutes. We'll be getting there with like 39% battery. We'll charge for about 30 minutes, and then we'll get to Vegas. We'll have about 10%. The trip is 300 miles, about 5 hours. So you know, you kind of have some assistance from the navigation system to get you where you're going, so you don't have to have too much range anxiety. All right, let's cancel out of there. So that's an interesting feature about the navigation system. The next thing I want to talk about is Sentry mode, which is a security system in the Teslas. It is using the cameras, and all you have to do is plug in a little USB flash drive in the USB port down here, and we'll go through that in detail. But all that does is basically it will record when Sentry mode is on. The side cameras and the front camera will, if there's any activity, it'll record that, and then when you get back in the car next time, it'll tell you there was an event, and you can pull the SD card and kind of review it. So it's a good security feature. And it'll also, like, if somebody bumps up against the car, or they break in or something, the alarm will go off. It'll play like a really loud music, and it also shows like a big red kind of light in the display to kind of, even when people are kind of like walking around the car, getting close, it'll kind of show them that it's been activated. So that's pretty neat. Of course, that does suck down batteries, so you know, you probably want to turn that off when you're in a place like your home or something, where you don't need it on. And it does give you options to do that. You can exclude home or work, that kind of thing. So any other places you go, you can have it automatically be turned on. But it's totally worth it. The other neat feature in the interior, so I also like, actually, before I talk about this, the glass roof, I also like this finish here. This is like Alcantara finish on the door trims. These are all soft touch plastic, so that's nice. Let's see here. So now let me show you this. Now this is one of my favorite parts of the interior too, the big glass roof. Now I wish you could actually slide and open this like a standard moonroof, but you can't, just because I guess it's such a big piece. They kind of have it fixed, but it does give you a lot of headroom, and then you can see in the back, so there's just a little beam in the middle, and then in the back it is all one piece of glass from the back seat to all the way to the back windshield. So that's kind of cool. I like the sun. So if you don't like the sun, what's wrong with you? But so yeah, definitely one of my favorite features is it is tinted. So it already comes tinted, so that's good. Because of course Arizona summers are hot, but it's not that bad. The AC is good. You just crank it up and you're good to go. Okay, so now let's talk about the most important aspect of any car. Is this annoying? Is my finger pointing annoying? Let's talk about the most important aspect of any car, the driving. The first interesting things in this car is the regenerative braking. Based on some of the other reviews I've seen, it's a little bit more aggressive in this car. Regenerative braking is
Okay, so I have to jump in here. This is a post-production future Yasser and save the day. I start rambling off about regenerative braking, trying to explain it, and didn't do a very good job. So here I found some written notes that are going to make a whole lot more sense. Moving vehicles have a lot of kinetic energy, and when brakes are applied to slow a vehicle, all of that kinetic energy has to go somewhere, right? So regenerative braking uses an electric vehicle's motor as a generator to convert much of that kinetic energy lost when decelerating back into stored energy in the vehicle's battery. Then, next time when the car accelerates, it uses much of that energy previously stored from regenerative braking instead of tapping in further into its own energy reserves. So that is essentially what regenerative braking is, and it's an awesome feature in this car.
A small thing, but until you experience it, test drive it yourself for a while, then you realize like, oh, how nice that is to not have to switch constantly, go from the accelerator pedal to the brake, accelerator pedal to the brake, that kind of thing. So even like right now, I still have not touched the brake, and only now at the very less than 5 or 3 miles an hour is where you start to use the brake to stop. But the regen will slow you down enough to where in day-to-day city driving you don't have to use the brake as much. So what that also leads to is your brakes lasting much longer because they're just not getting used. This is the electric motors using the brake, it's using the electric motors to slow you down. Essentially, is what regenerative braking is doing, and it's using that to charge the batteries. So that's the first one. The second one is Autopilot. Now, Autopilot, I mentioned, comes standard with the Model 3s. Autopilot includes auto steer and traffic aware cruise control, which means that it will maintain the speed, whatever speed you set to, and then it'll also maintain a certain distance that you set. You can set that from this right stock here, so that's like I think it's based on seconds. It's like 2 seconds, 3 seconds from the distance from the car in front of you, so you can set that yourself. And then auto steer will, if it can read the lane lines, it'll keep you centered in the lanes. It will also take some turns like on the freeways, as long as the turns aren't like too sharp. It can auto steer for you. So of course, that kind of a feature is amazing when it comes to rush hour driving and stop and go driving, traffic. But right now, Autopilot is in beta, so you're still, you still have to keep your hands on the wheel, and you still have to, it'll nag you to make sure that you're not taking off your hands off the steering wheel for too long, because you still have to pay attention. And it's mainly for highway use, even though it'll work in the city. So I'll demonstrate it here. So 2 taps down will activate both cruise control, traffic aware cruise control. That's what this blue indicates, the little blue ring around the speed display here, and the blue steering wheel will show. So like right now, I can take my hands off and see it's showing you the blue lanes, meaning that's what it can see when they're blue. That the car is telling you like, okay, I can see the lane lines. I got this. And then same thing for this. As long as the steering wheel is blue, it's like I can do this. So it's going to maintain the distance. It's going to slow down. I'll put my hand back on the steering wheel, but it's going to slow down on its own, maintaining distance. I'll take over here because again, this is not for the city, and this is a roundabout. So this is a complicated situation that the Autopilot cannot handle right now. That is supposed to be part of city drive. Like Autopilot in the city is part of the additional package, which is the full self-driving package, and that's supposed to be released later on, where it's going to also start to read turn signal, stop signs and signals, and kind of stop you in those situations too. Now, speaking of full self-driving, let's try to jump on the freeway real quick, so I can demonstrate the full self-driving feature called Navigate on Autopilot, which is kind of the main reason, honestly. Like, I got FSD right now because I think it's a really cool feature. It will what it does is it will auto steer and maintain speed and change lanes from once you get on the on-ramp to the off-ramp. Let's demo the navigate on autopilot. So I'm getting on the on-ramp. I'm going to go ahead and activate autopilot, 2 taps down. When this is blue, it means it's set to navigate on autopilot, and this is blue, that means it's auto steer. Because it tries to be a little bit cautious. There wasn't enough room for it to change lanes to get onto the freeway, so I took over there. So this is, again, this is why you have to still, it's not like you just turn it on and stop paying attention. You still have to pay attention. This is more of an assistance feature. So now we're back into autopilot. This is blue, and I just have my hand on the steering down here, but I'm really not really steering, it's steering. The blue line here shows the path that the car is projecting to take when it gets ready to change lanes. The blue line will kind of curve around and it'll kind of give you a heads up that it's thinking about changing lanes. So I'm gonna go ahead, you can scroll this wheel up quickly. We're already coming up on our exit, so it's gonna go ahead and exit. So see, it turns on the turn signal by itself, change lanes. I sped it up to 70, and now it's exiting here by itself, taking the off-ramp. Gives me a little warning saying in 200 feet autopilot will deactivate, and now it's just basically telling me I need to take over because it's done with its part. So this was just a very quick demo of navigate on autopilot. I'll do more videos of going on longer trips and showing you how it works. The thing that everyone talks about and loves is the instant torque. It's hard to explain. I think everyone should go test drive it to kind of feel it yourself. Also because it doesn't have a traditional transmission which has, you know, multiple gears. You're not waiting, when you floor it, you're not really waiting for the transmission to kick down gears and then start to accelerate. It's when you push down on the accelerator, there's almost like a one-to-one reaction of the car. You push down, the car accelerates. You push down more, it just accelerates harder and harder. So whether you're going from a standstill or you're going from 30 to 60 miles an hour or 50 to 80 miles an hour, you know, you'll get that nice push back into the seat. Now, of course, the performance varies between the different models of the Model 3. Alright guys, post-production Yasser's back to save the day once more. I could start to ramble again here for about a lot of different things, so I'm going to just end this here. So to wrap up the first impressions, my conclusions here after just about a week. This car is very unique. The experience is very unique. You can watch all the reviews. You can read them, you know, from all the different types of reviewers. You can ride in it with friends, and it's just not the same. I urge you to go out and test drive it yourself and go for like a long trip if you can have it, or rent it out from Turo or something to get the full experience of just how it is day to day, autopilot, FSD, and charging and all that. Just, you know, no engine noise and all, you know, it's just instant torque. All these things are so unique and so different about this car that you really have to experience it yourself to really get an idea of how neat it is. And of course, at the same time, zero emissions, you're also helping to keep the environment clean. So thanks for watching. If you made it this long, I appreciate it. This has just been my first impressions. Hope to do a more detailed review sometime in the future.